Please don't. A terrible offering. You really don't want to do this. I taste terrible.
Not today.
What?
I've watched that intro 10 times before I discovered that the what meme actually existed.
Oh, W-A-T?
What?
The Skeletor what meme, yeah.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mattriarchy, still being co-hosted while Matt is on hiatus finishing up school. It seemed like he's close to being done, so we probably won't have too many episodes without him. But I'm the Metal, and also being co-ran with this is Twitless. Let me move you up closer to me. And you can explain the show today.
Yeah, okay, so we've got two things going on. We're going to be talking about our favorite one-panel comics, and while we do that, we had a little fun with the rolling die and coming up with a random idea for a comic strip. But 3 panels was a little too long, I think, so in keeping with the theme for today, we're going to ask people from chat. We're going to see if anyone on the panel, Cartoonicus, I'm, hoping you'll take the lead on this, but basically we're going to do a 1-panel comic, and we're going to ask our artists to take a bunch of random nonsense and make a single panel comic strip out of it in honor of our discussion on our favorite single panel comics. So before we get into the discussion, let's pull up some dice and look to chat and ask for some random things to throw together so that we can get people get their creative juices flowing.
I will not be able to participate in the drawing today because I am moving soon and all of my art supplies are packed up. So.
Okay.
That's worst. Right. You want to draw, it's just not there. It's far away beyond the ether.
All right, so let's pull up a random document. Who wants to? I guess I can just pull it on up. Give me a second. Google Docs. And meanwhile, chat, let's go with some potential topics for today. So, chat, what do you think would be a good topic for a single panel comic strip? And while we're waiting for chat to jump in, does anyone on the panel have some crazy ideas? So, our last time we did this, we ended up doing.
Saying if you want.
No, it's usually, since they're a little behind us, it's usually, it's good for like a couple people in the panel start talking and they jump in. But so last time we did this, we did what was it? We did a Johnny Bravo fighting Milk at a rodeo clown farm.
2 things I never
and again, that was all
decided
decided by chance. But it gave us a wonderful character, Baron von Lacto. So that was fantastic. So chat, what are you thinking for topics?
I mean, we should continue with that excellent character, Baron von Lacto.
Only if the chat wants it.
I mean, fine.
But we got some people in chat already. I see Abigail in chat, Tony Sizzle, Jim Tuner, and looks like we've got Captain Cummings and Dave. So plenty of people in chat. Alrighty, so I'm just going to say, let's see here. I'm going to put pizza as a potential topic because I'm just waiting for people to chime in. So pizza
wants to know
as a potential topic.
I don't think anybody's going to stop you.
Just so long as you credit.
Use him for what?
I think so long as you credit the show for being responsible for Baron von Lacto.
No. What you do is
alrighty. So
you do what Unity does. If you make over $1 million, you have to share it with us.
So Captain Cummings is suggesting ninjas.
Ninjas, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna put get a numbered list here. We need at least 6 options, so we can roll a 6-sided die.
I mean, we could do ninjas and pizza. We could have pizza delivering ninjas.
Oh yeah, what famous? There's no famous properties that mix ninjas with pizza.
Exactly. But there's also radioactive mummy.
Catch reference.
He's talking about Ninja Turtles. But I also would have accepted Spider-Man.
Radioactive mummy. Okay, we're starting strong today.
That's very strong.
Oh, we're gonna end up with one of those Ninja Turtles knockoffs, aren't we?
Cowabunga, dudes.
I'm
I
okay
feel
with
like one
a
panel
single panel comic with about that. Okay.
We either need like more butts, or we need more like Far Side style absurd commentary on life, right?
Please.
Well,
Ryan,
that was.
don't start
Right.
Twitless with the butts.
I mean, if we want to
I'm
go
not
with
trying,
absurd, we want to do absurd commentary on life. Jim Turner was recommending Adam's Family by Charles Adams.
That is a good one, yeah.
All right. So, in keeping with what I've seen in many single panel comics, let's do marriage counseling.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then, all right, we need two more options. Anybody got anything random? What I think about today?
Getting in
Video
line
game.
at the airport.
Oh,
That's
I was gonna say video game power-ups.
Waiting in line at the airport. Video game power-ups. Okay, so here's what I think we're going to do. Let's roll the dice twice, and we're going to take the first two rolls and combine them, and then we will then put it the rest of that into chat, the hands of chat. To basically come up with a single panel about those things. So. All right, the Menace. I wonder what he picked today.
Yeah, I got my closest thing to a dice tray I have right now because it doesn't bounce very well against the table. So
right.
Nope, still falls off anyway. But we got a 2 for number 1. So.
Ninjas. Okay.
Ninjas and pizza. Want me to roll again?
Roll one more time.
There's some deep supernatural connection of ninjas and pizza.
Good
4.
gosh.
Okay, marriage counseling. Ninjas and marriage counseling.
Okay,
like
all
the
three.
I like the
we're
idea
gonna
of trying to write a comic about something that's tried and true ground, right?
Yeah.
Like Mondays and lasagna, but you can't reference Garfield in any way.
Okay, actually, we're gonna do all three. You have to
All
do
three.
pizzas, ninjas, and what was the one? It was marriage counseling.
counseling.
Yeah. There. Okay, so that's what the pitch is for today. Anyone in chat, and then Cartoonicus, if you want to get started. And again, rough sketches. Pencil and paper if you have to. You were going way too
this time.
way too fancy. All right,
So, I mean-
pizzas, ninjas, marriage counseling. That is the single panel strip pitch for today.
I mean,
yeah.
my first immediate idea is they're in marriage counseling over pizza toppings.
Now, we didn't say who it has to be. It could be a Ninja Turtle. And again, these types of single panel comics, it would be totally on brand to basically just draw two teenage Ninja Turtles.
And unlike last time,
marriage
we're not
counseling.
telling you what you have to write. This is more of a draw along while we discuss our favorite single panel.
Exactly.
If I
Yeah.
may, it would be helpful on me in my drawing if everyone in the panel were a ninja and thus invisible.
Gosh. Alrighty. Okay, so Marmaduke fan is here to talk about his favorite strip. We're going to let him go first. He's very gracefully giving us some of his time.
I'm drawing an idea for the one panel comic too. All right. So,
Okay.
my comic, full disclosure, I was a classmate of the person who made this, but the comic I would recommend is Hydrated Tourist Penguin. The artist posted on Instagram and Webtoons, and I actually have some zines of Hydrated Tourist Penguin that are more like collective long-form stories, but the comics on Webtoons and Instagram are one-panel comics. So I guess mine's kind of like a weird, liminal gray space one, because some of them are just totally purely like one-panel comic strips, and sometimes there will be like an arc that picks up and goes across a few strips. And even like the long form stories are essentially collections of single panels that collectively tell the story of one of Hydrated Tourist Penguin's adventures, but very much in the format of one full page of art, one full page of art, one full page of art, like a one panel comic. So I really love the zines because it's kind of like The artist goes back and forth between a one-panel style of humor and a ongoing story format style of humor in this really bizarre and seamless way. And you'll just get like these really surreal moments where there'll be like a sudden cut and Hydrated Tourist Penguin will be in some completely different situation, but there's still a logical through line for everything. So it's a real like brain buster.
Give me a link so I can pull some stuff up from it.
Yeah, private chat. I think private chat. You should have a link.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so let me pull this up.
There we
so
go.
we can take a look.
Does this help?
Alrighty, all right. So, oh, this looks great. All right, so I'm gonna share this real fast so we can take a look, and then Marm, if you just want to tell me if this is the one you want us to take a look at, I can definitely take a look at some others. But this is what you call it. It's Hydrated Tourist Penguin.
Yeah, and this is one of my. I guess I think the artist is okay with me sharing a little backstory. So we were both Linda Berry students. So this is an example of something where you just started drawing this guy in the classes, kind of like her freeform drawing assignments. And I just love this character, and I just kept talking him up and saying, "You've got to do more with this character. This is brilliant." I haven't found his zines anyway. I don't know if he shared his zines online. So the only thing I've been able to find online so far are his one-panel comics since leaving the class. Yeah.
So we're definitely doing, at least in this one, kind of like the anti-humor. It's like, where's the punchline? And it's like the fact there was no punchline is kind of like the joke.
Yeah. And I've got to, I ought to just send you the zines too, because I'm flipping through it fast to see if he has posted Hydrated Tourist in Paris, I think, is the first long form Hydrated Tourist Penguin adventure. It really shines in like how Hydrated Tourist Penguin will go from this kind of like one-off style of humor to suddenly being like on a bizarre epic adventure involving assassinating presidents and political world politics.
Really? I like this one right here, the low kill homeless shelter. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wow.
That's pretty good. That's pretty dark. All right. Resume. Hydrated Tourist Penguin. Highlights. Found innocent of treason. I like that.
I mean, that's a pretty good highlight, because you have to have done something worthy of somebody investigating you for treason first.
And he's holding he's holding a water bottle. It's like a Nalgene. So that's the hydrated part, I'm guessing. Okay, all right. I get it. That's interesting. All right. Let's see here. Babylon. Das nasty. Okay. Cande. Some of these look very much like I went to art school, but
okay, I'm actually gonna lose this because it's like 80 something degrees in here.
I'd like an ochenta mocha frappuccino.
Hashtag coffee.
You have to turn my head upside down to read some of that. That's great. Veja du. That's a perfect name. I just had the strangest sense of deja vu. You just said that. Okay.
That one's pretty funny. I like that.
Taro SpongeBob. Oh no, you drew the Squidward. Now you have to stop and tell me if one of these was in fact drawn in Linda Berry's class. How was your trip to China? I got
looks like some of these from 2018. So the ones I'm thinking of would have been I think he invented this character between like 2013 and 2016. I think so. Okay. He's revisited the character since graduating, basically.
Let's see here. 312 super expensive and time-consuming ways to eat healthier by Julia Child.
I mean, that's kind of unfair. Julia Child's things aren't that expensive.
I'm digging the art style.
No, I am. I am too.
All right, let's see. What does chat think? Chat says Marmaduke versus a Ninja Clifford in a cooking contest making pizza. So we're getting some really advanced.
It shows us in a talking pizza who's a marriage counselor to a pair of ninjas. I like that one. And Abigail said a married couple of ninjas that are fighting over their pizza business.
What if the ninjas were pizza? Like just big slices of pizza with like ninja bands.
No, this one's just me. What a beautiful day! Thank goodness I'm inside. That's just my.
I think that's everyone here.
That is the literally me meme.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's literally me.
Yeah.
I do like how he draws the penguin character. It's very cheerful. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be the odd one out.
Do you
I
have the-
actually like being outside.
I do
state
too.
are you in?
But yeah.
What state are you in?
I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah, dox yourself, sir.
Oh, dude, everybody knows where I live. I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
I don't care. I can tell you the exact city. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I have my exact city on my Twitter profile, and it is too GD hot in South Florida.
Yeah,
I love trashy historical fiction. And I'm getting almost a little bit of an oatmeal
Can we
vibe.
clip that, by the
some
way, for
reason.
future?
It's only 80 degrees.
Alrighty. Are there any other? Are there different? Does the Instagram have some of the longer form ones, or
No, I can't.
this
I
one's
can't
got
find
a
his longer form ones anywhere. I clicked through pretty fast. All right, I might have to just tweet him and say, "Hey, man, you gotta get the longer form ones up too."
Alright.
But hopefully I've like pitched you on the character. This is like you're in the Sonichu phase of the hydrated tourist penguin fandom. Now eventually I've got to get you down to like the saga.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we gotta look at this one. Considering we're talking about strips today. On your mark, get set, go. Crash, snaps in twain.
Grass breaks.
My leg
I
crash.
saw-
Hashtag crash. I saw 2 people die today. Lasagna. So there's your Garfield crossover right there.
I mean, the guy there sitting in the chair looks very Jim Davis-like, suspiciously Jim Davis-like.
Okay, I think that's
All right.
one of my classmates. That possibly. So many things run
really?
together in the very format. Yeah, but I swear we had a Viking. We had a guy in our class who drew himself as a Viking.
All right. Now, before we move on, since you are #1 Marmaduke fan, we would be like completely unjust to like everything that we all stand for if we didn't get you to share with us your favorite #1 Marmaduke single panel comic.
Well, it would actually be Farmaduke. Do you guys know Farmaduke?
No.
I don't.
It's a Twitter account that tweets out Marmaduke strips, but it replaces the dialogue with information from big pharmaceutical company research papers.
What?
All right.
That's amazing. Hold up. I need to find that Twitter account.
Pull one of those up. We'll share it on stream.
Yeah, this just sounds better than Garfield Sans Garfield.
It's PH. It's not even just. I thought with an F, right? Like farm or farmer. It's PH. Big Farmaduke. I get it. That's okay. I get it. That's crazy. That's fitting. Abigail says
he's retired.
LOL post.
Oh, he's retired. Oh.
Meaning that the
I think the old
farm
ones are still
companies
up.
sued him out of business.
Yeah, the old ones are up.
Alrighty. Oh, here we go. I got the. Let me share this right here in a second. And here we go. We're gonna take a look at Big Farmaduke.
And it turns out I was already following this account.
Oh. Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat in case anybody else wants to look at it.
Really?
This is amazing.
Yeah, perfect.
I only trip a few times a year at most and have a preference for classic tryptamines.
I only trip a few years classic tryptamines. Wow.
Here. Let me. Here's one in the private chat. That's my personal favorite one already.
Alrighty. Let me take a look at a couple. I become aware of my flesh as being an entity unto itself, conscious unto its own being, holding its own wisdoms and somatic dreams. That sounds like an H.P. Lovecraft quote.
Well, I was gonna say this is basically like what were those books called?
Oh, here we go. This one is definite expiration year 2015, expiration IDs. This is clearly just like a copy and paste of what HTML from.
Yeah.
So is it Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters?
Prime Prejudice and Zombies, I think is what you're talking about. It was now a picture perfect round spider web with a brown recluse's spider at the center of it. What? So the funny thing is that when you take something completely non sequitur and you put it with one of these strips that have become so rote that they become tired and boring, part of the experiment here, it's the same thing with the people who riff on Garfield, is can you make a funnier strip by taking, something completely random and just kind of like riffing on what this very formulaic strip ends up being,
right?
Which is interesting because
there's some Garfield minus Garfield strips that don't work, but there are other Garfield minus Garfield strips that ascend, right? They become better without Garfield in them. Yeah.
All right, so let me share the one that Larry pulled up, I think. Here we go. At the higher dose, it felt similar to the LSD that I had done many times decades ago, but much more forgiving and of shorter duration, about 4 to 5 hours.
Oh.
See, because the real strip was probably like, oh my gosh, he wants our donut.
Yeah. I guess if we did a reverse Google image search, we might be able to
find the real one.
Find the real one.
Okay, so alrighty, single panel cartoons, everybody. And what's interesting is that some of them have gotten into some very interesting formulas. And like I said, as everybody knows in chat, number one Marmaduke fan is more of a meme than anything, but because you're not actually a big fan of actual.
I do like some of the Brad Anderson ones. I finally did go back and look up some old Brad Anderson ones. I think for him, it was more of a labor of love. I'm going to come up funny stories about kids and their dogs. It's definitely a comic that's shown its age over time. Once new people took it over, I feel like it's just kind of like rotely prime real estate. Having a newspaper comic strip is prime real estate, and they never want to let the characters die once they get that prime real estate. So it'll go on forever.
Yeah. I was talking about this with Cartoonicus because of the syndicate contracts. I don't know a ton about this, but it's very clear that if you look at your current Sunday funnies, some of them they're essentially family businesses, and the son or sometimes grandson, grandnephew, or whoever is the one who's drawing it at the time, and still has like maybe the original person's name, and it's very clear it's like son has taken over. And they're maintaining that probably very lucrative syndicate contract, because if that son had to strike on his own and sell his own strip, there's no way he'd get the same deal as Beetle Bailey. I think it was Beetle Bailey, Hagar the Horrible. There's a couple of them. And if you look at them now, it's like very clear. It's like son or grandson that's basically doing what Pops used to do. So it's interesting how it's like, son, you're going to take over the family business, except the family business isn't the local mill. It's your son, you're going to draw a picture of a Viking
Garfield
over and over again.
Didn't I pitch you guys on Heathcliff recently in a previous stream?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
that ties in perfectly. I think it's the nephew who took over Heathcliff. Yeah.
You know what's funny, Twitless? Chris Brown, the guy who does Hagar the Horrible now, he lives in Sarasota. I have casually met him at a public event once.
Oh, really? Did you ask him how lucrative those syndicate contracts were? They want to keep
I
them
did
in the
not
family?
No, I was a lad of 14 and didn't care of such things at the time.
Gotcha. All right, so that is Farmaduke. So feel free to take a look at that.
Attention that Rhys showed up in chat.
See here. Did anyone have any? Oh, who's that guy?
Hi.
Who's he?
He's
and we
not important. No.
Well, he says he's not the real Rhys, so he can't be.
No, I said I'm not the real Rhys.
He's having Metal and real Rhys are having like AI bot conversations with each other. Alrighty, so let's jump back to Cartoonicus and see how far he's come along, and then we'll jump back and ask someone else to maybe share more about their favorite single panel comics. Unless Marv, did you have anything else, any other things to?
I tweeted a pic at you guys inspired by ninjas and pizzas and marriage counseling.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
Okay. Oh, gosh, really? Okay.
It's in the private chat.
Okay. We definitely got to pull that up. All right.
I like the free-form drawing format idea. Like, okay, just come up with something on this idea.
That is excellent. I love that. That is excellent.
All right, do you want me to share it, or Metal, or do you got
Go
it?
for it.
You can share it.
Hold on.
So you guys can co-host now? You can both do the presentation software?
No, I'm doing that, but he can share everything like normal. I just have a lot of things on my screen right now, so
this is perfect.
One more.
This is absolutely perfect, and this is exactly what we were looking for. So, chat, we want to see a bunch of these.
Yeah.
I hate the way you slice pizza. I ain't hungry enough to eat 8.
That is beautiful. It is the perfect distillation of the 3 things that were selected.
Exactly.
I think in improv they say something like go for your third thought. I didn't go for my third thought on this one. I just went right at it.
That's absolutely perfect. And I think we're going to start doing more of these because, like, especially the single panel ones, and we can throw it together pretty quickly, which is just like throw 6 topics together, roll a dice. Okay. Roll a dice a couple of times. We're throwing these things together. We did it last week and it was pretty interesting, but we tried to do like a 3-panel comic, which I think was a little too long.
Yeah.
But
the other one is,
it was interesting.
The other one is give everyone some kind of like phrase that what's something you overheard at work today, and then everybody tries to construct something out of that phrase, and it's anything that's kind of like realistic or has a little specificity to it is great, because then people can just jump in any direction with it.
We can just pull a random Wheel of Fortune puzzle out of nowhere and just go with whatever that is.
Or you can pull out a Cards Against Humanity card and say, we're drawing a 1-panel comic based off of Cards Against Humanity card.
Don't get Marmon Matt C started on Cards Against Humanity.
Maybe we'll
had a whole like rant about it.
Instead.
Apples to apples is better.
I was gonna say Marmon's I could almost say, like, because I've read some of these pages that you're discussing in Linda Berry's Making Comics syllabus thing. So I know I feel like I'm pulling a Patton where I'm like, I read your book.
Oh, you see? Okay, wait. You mean the Hydrated Tourist Penguin ones? You've seen?
No. Like when you were mentioning have people draw something they heard today, and it's like that's totally
exactly.
That's a Linda Berry prompt, you know.
That's what's really weird about reading a book where you were involved in it. Is I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember hearing her say that. I remember her talking about this thing she's writing about in the book. It gives you it's a really different perspective to read about something and then know what was actually going on that prompted the thing discussed.
That's cool. I'll have to pick your brain more about that later. Seven is coming to chat saying, just walking into this, where's the Master Splinter counseling Michelangelo and April O'Neil? That's totally a direction you could take in this. The prompt is actually, I will put it back up on screen for people who are just showing up. But the prompt that we determined completely randomly was, let's see here. Let me actually highlight the ones we did. So ninjas, pizza, and marriage counseling. A single panel comic that addresses those 3 things in any way you so choose. And so I'm assuming some people in chat are already making Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle strips, but you can take it in any direction. It just has to have those 3 things, because the amount of marriage counseling, I feel like I could be wrong. Maybe it's just confirmation bias. But I feel like the amount of strips that single panel strips that address things like marriage counseling or standing in line or just those types of mundane things are very high. Alrighty, so who wants to go next to share their favorite single panel strips and get us rolling with laughing at some funny bite-sized pieces? Don't go all at once.
I can, but I'm trying.
That's right.
Do we want to go to Dennis the Menace? Oh, I forgot who posted Dennis the Menace.
Metal, are you ready?
Me. I was typing things. I was typing the topics so I could put them on OBS and you don't have to necessarily keep this open.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. All right. So, well, I think the only person who's not busy is Larry. Larry, you're up.
Okay, I'm up. Give me a second to find the. Where's the link here? So I went to look for the top 10 Far Side comics because I knew no matter what one I picked, it would be something I would enjoy. And get this link here. Put the link in here. Because Far Side was a big part of my growing up in the 80s and early 90s in high school. Because I went to a gifted high school, and that was what we all considered funny and amusing. So this is
Alrighty.
You me to pull that?
All right, I got it. I will share it on screen here in a second. I got it. All right, here we go. And Metal, if you want to share that one.
Yeah.
It is a classic
this hits
image.
Yeah. This is like the total like Venn diagram of the Far Side, where it's surreal, dark cows. And he had a couple of Venn diagrams, but this is one of his most well-known Venn diagrams of like something insane, something surreal, something dark, and then cows. Sometimes it was something insane, something surreal, and then ducks. But he did a lot with farm animals. Yeah, cows and Marsupial Gamer says, yeah, cows and chickens. Yeah, he did plenty with cows, ducks, chickens. But yes, Far Side by Gary Larson. Darn it, you and I have picked the same one. I'm also going to share some Far Side actually.
Yeah, just combine the time.
And also, what I like about this one is somebody pointed out in the Twitter chat, those could be vegetarian steaks. The other cows could be judging him improperly.
Veggie birds.
They could also be any other animal, and it really wouldn't be a problem.
Well, I mean, cows are still herbivores.
Oh yeah, but like all herbivores will occasionally eat meat. Like protein's protein. I've seen deers just like eat birds.
Yes,
they just scoop
but
them
this
up.
is exactly what Mad Cow started.
And this is the kind of humor that Gary Larson inspires. You start thinking about, well, wait a minute. Well, how would cows feel about eating like a turkey? And it's like, that's kind of weird.
Well, I always thought about when people will look like, say, a mermaid and say, well, then they'd obviously be against eating fish. And I'm like, hold on, humans eat animals, right?
Well, also fish eat other fish. They're not the same species.
Exactly, right.
But these are the sorts of thoughts that Gary Larson inspires in people. So which Gary Larson?
I always like the colors too.
Well, let's pull up I feel like we should pull up a couple, but while I'm doing a couple of things here in the background, Larry, talk us through a little bit about how you first read Far Side. What's interesting, Far Side only ran from like, it was like a 15-year run, but it ended I think in 95. It was like 1980 to 1995, something like that.
Yep.
So if you were a child and you read the Sunday Funnies for that 15-year period, the Far Side was very much a very important comic strip. but he retired, and so there were a lot of people who probably they may have seen one or two of these because they're very popular for, and this is something that goes in general for single panel comics, which we didn't really talk about at the beginning of the show, which we probably should have, which is why are single panel comics so important? And one of the things that's so important about them, let me blow everybody's mind. Single panel comics are super easy to tape outside your office door and give a little bit of personality and also show a little bit about how quirky you are. The amount of times you pass by in college somebody's door and they've got a Far Side comic, a Family Circus comic, a Non Sequitur or something else strip. And
they were basically the original memes.
Yeah, exactly. And
100%.
The problem, and here's what makes single panel comics so good, right? If you were to, because some people would do this too, they would post like an entire like Sunday funny, right? Like from the Sunday pages, and it takes like 5 minutes to read it, and it's like no.
I ain't got time for that.
You got time for that. The single panel ones were the ones where you went, oh, I know that professor. He's got a sick sense of humor. I'm taking his class. And you could very quickly decide which professors you'd be safe taking and which ones not, depending on what single panel comic they put outside their door or their office. So,
Okay, so do you guys have any candidates for guy who's taken over for Gary Larson's Far Side? Because I've noticed there's like a trend of Far Side-esque comics post.
Gary's coming back.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Yeah, Gary's announced he's making a comeback.
Because I was gonna pull this up on his website. I don't think he's said like a comeback yet. He's just announced that he has an internet presence now. Yeah. So I don't think he said he's going to do new material. It's mostly going to be just on his website. He's going to do. Actually, since we're talking about it, we can maybe pull this up here in a second.
He's going to defy everyone. He's going to go extremely high art and just put tablet drawn doodles up that are funnier than anything you've ever seen. But
actually, before we get to that, we need to show a couple more. Let's see here. Let me pull up one of my favorites.
Okay, Rhys, we'll see you later. He's got to go.
Oh, yep. Talk to you later. He says he's super jealous of our show. Well, we're doing our best. Hold on, give me a second. Alrighty.
Well, when you're stuck finishing school, I think you'd probably be jealous of anything too. It's like, man, I could be there instead of doing this.
But to answer Marm's question, I was gonna say for a while they did. It was called what's it called? Far From Home, was it? Or Close to Home.
Yeah.
It was called Close to Home. And that was the one that they ran in my newspapers. And it was the closest to the it was like essentially the Aldi brand, the non-name brand you get at the grocery store. It's like, oh, I want Frosted Flakes. We have flakes of frost at home, Johnny. That was close to home. But that was what my newspaper ran, and that was
flakes.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of like who took over Gary Larson in my newspaper, that's who it was. But then he retired too, because like again, he ran for like I don't know 10 or so many years, and then I think he
I remember
as well.
Close
so it's like you need.
The other weird one is Bizarro by Dan Peroro, because he had to do it in the 4-panel size dimension, but he would mostly do 1-panel comics in those dimensions. And he would do bizarro gags, and he would have running gags, like he'd always have a stick of dynamite somewhere.
Oh, is this the guy who hides like 20 different icons of the same in all his strips?
Oh, I haven't heard that. Oh, okay, yeah. Like he would hide 20 things over his strips. I think that sounds right.
He had like 20 specific things, and then he'd hide about 10 of them. When
I was a child, I died laughing at this comic strip.
That is great. I love it.
Go bump in the night. I like it. Yeah.
This one completely killed me. Colin Lamping says, hello, based department. And Marsupial Gamer says, the poor man's Far Side. Yeah, close to home. This one, I remember as a child, this one utterly slayed me, and still to this day is pretty insane. However, this also brings up one of the things we're about to talk about regarding the Far Side, which is Gary Larson's relationship with the internet. You'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, you have the iFunny, which is... this particular strip was the way when I pulled it up by a Google search. It was just hosted on some image board somewhere. And Gary Larson's relationship with the internet was, let's just say he's very much a boomer. And his initial take on the internet was to be like, what's this computer machine thing? And I don't like people sharing things, even though like people have been clipping out Far Side comics, and like as we just discussed, they've been slapping them on their doors. They've been sharing them by cutting them out and, physically, basically doing what people do now on the internet.
The other big one was Far Side calendars, right? Like you would have a calendar to show you were a Far Side fan, and then you could pull out a page of it if there was one you especially liked. Yeah.
All right, so let me share just a couple more that are kind of funny. Let's see here.
Bizarro cartoons.
I got two here in the private chat too.
There's an old Far Side book I remember, because at the end when he retired, he told the story of his thoughts looking back on his retirement. It was basically just like a long set up for a gag. Was his closing remarks. It was about like kids doing a drawing, and then one kid draws a light bulb, and then the last kid comes up and he draws a couple feet on the light bulb and says, "That's a picture of my mom putting on her girdle." And I just thought, oh my gosh, that's the first naked thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I would also like to apologize to anybody listening in the chat. Every so often, very, very rarely, but it's happened, my audio driver has been cutting out because it's just acting weird today. So if you just end up missing audio for 2 seconds at a time every 15 minutes, there's nothing I can do about that at the moment.
Great.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so another thing that Gary Larson would do. Oh, got what?
I've got one quick question for Twitless. Do you think there's a distinction between a one-panel newspaper comic and something like a New Yorker cartoon, or are they? Would you say they're functionally the same format?
I'd say they're functionally the same. Yeah.
The only difference is the one-page newspaper comic is funny.
Oh gosh, that's fair. I think the differences are more in terms of the intended audience. The New Yorker crowd is meant for the sort of like, oh, this is humor that you're supposed to laugh and also go, I feel smart afterwards.
Yeah.
Whereas the newspaper is targeting just like your bread and butter. Speaking of which, Gary Larson would do several of these with religious implications. Yes, that's right. The answer is Wisconsin. Another 50 points for God. And looks like Norman, our current champion, hasn't even scored yet.
Oh, I know this one.
So he'd do a couple like that. I think Larry had a couple more to pull up, and then I will share a little bit more on Gary here. Alrighty, but the other thing about the Far Side is that he tended to do like ducks and cows and stuff, but he could pull out anything. He'd do them about aliens, monsters. We have wolves in sheep's clothing. Wait a minute, isn't anyone here a real sheep? So I need to take this. We need to take this. And we need to basically have like put little FBI hats on.
Yeah,
them.
Anytime the feds arrest the themselves.
That's why we did share this.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Isn't anyone here in the alt-right?
Fed posting to a max.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as Cartoonicus very saliently put it, one of the things about the Far Side is the fact that he was kind of capturing internet meme humor, like 15 years before, 15 or 20 years before it would become a thing. He was like, they just missed each other enough for it to be kind of odd. But
Abigail,
and the last one,
surprisingly, has already seen an FBI edit of that.
Nice.
Oh, really? Okay.
And this one, since I went to a gifted school, we did an edit where we just replaced Midvale with our school's name. That was a school T-shirt one year.
See, that's the other thing about, because like again, the idea that you would remix it is totally a meme thing. So like I said, he basically everything about the Far Side was just so mimetic. It was just he retired right before, you know, mimetics became really a thing, and then people started making memes out of his comics, sharing them on the internet, and then he's, like I said, he's just this total boomer. So now's the time that I think I would like to actually pull up his letter. We're not going to read the whole thing, but I'll cover a couple of the highlights. But just to kind of show you how this guy started out, and then kind of like where he ended up. So this is a letter from Gary Larson. This is kind of his, I guess, comeback, as you would say. I don't think he's making new content, but he's now hosting his old content. And you can basically get a daily dose of the Far Side on his website. Right here, it says Daily Dose. But he says, it's been close to 25 years since I decided to retire my trusty Rapidograph X500 with added comfort, grip, turbo flow, and steady cow. I especially loved that last option. That was a nice pen. Okay, so you're talking about a guy, and he's that kind of guy who loves to put parentheticals onto things and say random stuff. But you're dealing with the quintessential boomer. Who does not understand the internet. And his initial response to the internet was to essentially think that it was all really kind of, you know, scary, and he didn't like it. But eventually he kind of came around to the fact that he can't really ignore the internet. As the digital world gathered speed, I was excited, as most of us who lived outside the tech world. And back then, as a cartoonist, you couldn't get much further outside of tech unless maybe you were a coal miner. And we're seeing all these amazing tools unfold, tools to help us better communicate, write, explore, and learn. Naively, I now realize I never once foresaw any connection between this emergent technology and my cartoons. I had spent years drawing the Far Side for real newspapers, which segued into real books and real calendars. These, as some of you may recall, were rather quaint, three-dimensional objects that you could also double as fly swatters. What did the internet have to do with me? Cue the scary music. He's still not entirely sold on it. I still have some ambivalence about officially entering the online world. I previously equated it to a rabbit hole, although black holes sometimes seem more apropos. Yeah, there you go. Goodness gracious, I feel embarrassed. English major, I can't pronounce apropos. But my change of heart on this has been due not only to some evolution in my own thinking, but also in two areas I've always cared about when it comes to this computer internet stuff: security and graphics. So he basically thinks that back in the day, the computer couldn't do much with pixels, essentially. And now they can do crazy things and with it and really have high fidelity. And then the other side of it is that because he understands that people are going to share his cartoons anyway, that having an official place to be able to have a presence where he can say, hey, this is my official place, here's my official merch, he can at least get, have some measure of control over his legacy. And so that's kind of where he's at. He's still super boomer about it, but he's got more of a, he's got a slick website now, and he's got an online presence where before he had none. So that's Gary Larson and the Far Side. Seven says, didn't realize he drew them with a Rapidograph. I hate those pens.
I like the way he writes. I write like that, especially using the parentheticals. I'm always giving commentary on my own thoughts when I write, so it's kind of relatable.
Mm-hmm. You got to be careful with it. If you go too far into it, it gets really cringy, which is something you could accuse the Far Side of going into. But the cartoons for the Far Side were very good because he only had so much space to put a caption that it prevented him from, it made him self-edit a lot. And so you get these really punchy cartoons most of the time. But like I said, if you were a child...
just my personal.
Okay. Always pronounce it rapidograph.
We have a finished drawing.
We do? Okay.
As so Abigail put the edit that you were looking for in the Discord, but I believe there's also a finished cartoon as well in the art channel.
Okay, so give me a second. I'll pull some stuff up there. Oh gosh, Discord's blowing up. All right. Oh, these are great. And I think Seven had posted some from some single panel comics that I was going to share as well. But yeah, let me pull these up. So thank you very much, chat and Discord chat. I will be pulling some of your selections up. One of the non sequitur ones was definitely like hit really close to home for me. So give shout out to Seven for giving us that one. And I think actually Rhys dropped one that I should have probably pulled up when he was here, but we'll pull that up anyway because he's not. Because he's
wanted Cow Tools because Cow Tools is a classic.
Alrighty, so let me start sharing stuff. Here we go. Alrighty, so we'll start with this one. This is a classic. I remember this one. So
cat food.
Cat food. So like I said, brevity is the soul of wit, and Gary Larson demonstrates that in spades when he's doing a cartoon. Although he's writing long form, he's not so brief. So yeah, there's cat food. That's a good one. And the other cool thing about the single panel strips is you can just read tons of them all at once. Yeah. Alrighty, let's do. This is the edit that Abigail had. Hold on, isn't anyone here a real insurrectionist? There's the exactly. Yeah.
That's great.
The other thing, that's the other thing about the Far Side especially, is not only did he kind of anticipate internet meme culture, but a lot of his stuff stays relevant. Like you can take some of his old strips and then slap on something current, just like you literally just type FBI onto something. Suddenly it becomes 110% relevant for today's world. So it's just wild. And I think it speaks to the staying power of his strip. Let's see here.
Speaks to the staying power
We've
of
got,
a
definitely, yeah. So this was another comic. This is called Non Sequitur. I remember my newspaper was wasn't fancy enough to afford a subscription or to have a comic strip section big enough for Non Sequitur. But I remember going to my grandma's house and seeing a few and thinking they were pretty clever. We loved your original concept, but just to be on the safe side, we ran it past a focus group.
That's a great one.
It's solid stuff, and again, very relevant. That's
I think he posted that one like when we announced the topic, because it's been in there for a bit.
Okay, but what's weird about non sequiturs? He had recurring characters.
Yeah.
So he would have one panel gags, but then he would also have like his little, character and her kind of like down to earth adventures, and it was like Calvin.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, weren't those the Sunday strips? Like the Sunday strips would have like the recurring characters, and then the daily strips would be like single panel. It was something weird.
Little goth girl Calvin, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm not just making that up in my head. Okay. So Rhys threw one up. It's not what you can do for me, my friends. It's not what you can do for me, my friends. It's what you can do for me. But that doesn't make any sense. Don't ruin the moment.
But.
So there was Rhys giving us his own single panel comic there.
Well, mine is finished. I just need you guys to help me come up with a caption for it.
Okay. Can we look at Abigail's first, and then we'll jump over to?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. All right, I got it pulled up. Give me 1 second. Actually, hold on. I'm a little too blown up here. Reset that. Share that. Here we go. This is great. This is very well done.
So, this was actually one of the ideas I actually pitched when we were talking about it, because that's perfect.
It's all subtext.
Okay, wait,
It says so much with so little.
I need to figure out what this is saying in reverse here.
Marriage counselor pizza.
Pizzeria. I think this.
It's
Oh,
a counselor
it's
at
a
the
pizza-
pizzeria where the pizza gets
It-
made.
It's an Italian pizza cook with a mustache.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so that's a very experimental form of therapy where you go to therapy and you design a pizza together. That's how you
Or maybe
bring your
just
marriage
eat
back
the pizza
together.
because everybody feels better when they get food in their stomach, especially pizza.
So Wilberforce Rooster has an interesting point. He says no one is going to mention Nuclear Warhead Samurai, which is I believe the one-page comic that Quaff did, which is I think just a nuclear explosion. So for the purposes of this panel, does single panel count if it's a whole page?
Like a splash page. Well, it's still one panel.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically, yes. It kind of fits. It's a little outside of the format of the typical single panel cartoon like Family Circus, which I think we have to pull up a Family Circus just cause. Yeah. But yeah, Abigail, this is brilliant. And again, the backwards on the window there, wonderful, nice touch. Pineapples, one word sells the entire joke. So that's great. He looks like Dr. McNinja there a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Which is
excellent.
that was one of the old web comics,
yeah.
right? They went really big, yeah.
That and there was that, and then there was the web show that Cartoonicus and I used to watch called Ask a Ninja.
Love that.
Yep, I remember
I
that.
remember that. That was classic.
Where he would just improv and just make stuff up. That was crazy. Old internet right there. All right, brilliant. Alrighty,
never get it back.
I'm gonna pull some
It's
stuff
gone
up.
forever.
Oh, I was gonna jump back to Cartoonicus real quick, who wanted some help.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, hang on with that. Oops. Change.
And I think Seven had another strip for us to take a look at here in a second. Wilberforce says Twitless has been subscribed to the New Yorker for 22 years. I'm not a New Yorker guy actually. Some of their strips are okay, so I've seen some of those, but nope, I'm actually much lower class than that.
Where the audio went out.
Much more blue collar.
Say what you just said again with the his comment.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not actually a New Yorker guy.
Yeah.
I'm a much more low class. I'm much more blue collar. So here we go. Cartoonicus has taken the concept, which was, like I said, it was pizza, ninjas, and marriage counseling, and he's decided to make the marriage counselor the pizza.
Mhm.
Nice.
And
I like that.
we've got our two ninjas. I love the classic 1950s housewife ninja right there, and then we've got Father Ninja, clearly off from his busy day working at the Ninja Factory, where they manufacture death.
I think the real talent here is that the pizza therapist's face stays intact despite already being sliced. Which I'm assuming came from the disgruntled ninjas who didn't necessarily like his advice.
But okay, so yeah, what kind of caption goes with this? So we're gonna leave that on screen for just for a couple of minutes. We're gonna see if chat comes up with a real good
All right.
tag there or caption. In the meantime, I think it is Menace. Are you ready to share some?
Oh, I was never ready. I was telling Larry before we started, I didn't have time to actually do any homework. But I do remember really, really liking Dennis the Menace growing up. And around the time that I was reading it, it was like all color, right? And mostly single panel comics. And part of one of the reasons I grew to like Dennis the Menace was, strangely enough, he was like the mascot, like somehow adopted by Dairy Queen. So I was always getting like Dennis the Menace toys, and they would even have like single panel comics on the kids' meal bags and stuff like that. And that's part of how I was introduced to him.
Yeah.
And I could always personally relate to Dennis the Menace as a character, being a small blonde boy who was always getting in trouble with his parents and other people in his neighborhood.
Did you have a Mr.
So you're
Wilson
clearly
in your
talking
neighborhood
about
growing up?
I'm assuming you're talking about. So we do need to clarify this point, especially
There's
since
different
we have
Dennis
an
the
international
Menace.
audience.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the American Dennis the Menace, which is the one,
Yes,
obviously
the
the
American
Americans
one.
that we have
Yeah.
more familiarity with. Yeah. All right. So if I've got a comic from Seven shared with us, another non sequitur. So as a non sequitur to our conversation, it's perfectly fitting for us to take a look at it.
Drop one of the ones I particularly liked in the Twitter chat before you wanted to pull that one up after this.
Give me a second. I will take a look. But we can pull some Dennis the Menace up, and the American one.
Yeah.
Because I believe the British one was in the Beano comic.
Yeah, he's like a dick in the British one. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the American one, he's just kind of like a rowdy kid who doesn't understand that he's doing wrong, but like, yeah.
Oh, Dennis,
right,
you little rapscallion. British Dennis
in
goes on a murder spree.
Right, yeah, the British one's like a tool. He's an actual menace. He actually fits the
menace to society.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah.
This is definitely a good one. Let's let me see. Let me just do it that way. It's probably load better. And gracious. And Dennis the Menace. How many times do I have to tell you to clean your room?
Was I supposed to keep count?
Okay, now wait. So he gets like 2 sentences of stuff, and Gary Larson has a tight word count, right? So what's Dennis the Menace's word count?
Yeah, that's interesting.
This might be a space count. It's like, listen, if you can fit it in this little like inch by 2 inch area, we'll let you put whatever you want.
Yeah, there you go. Alrighty, so let me pull up a couple more. Take a look at them, and let's see here. To be honest, I was never personally. I was not the biggest Dennis the Menace fan myself. I was the weird kid who just, I was who thought the Far Side was just amazing.
No, I mean, I like Far Side, but I don't know. I think to me, Dennis is how people who work in offices feel about Dilbert. Like, even as an adult, I still relate to Dennis way more than I relate to like a lot of other comics. So it's a very personal thing.
That makes sense. Here we go. So, so it's kind of classic, like, American boys will be boys, essentially. I know that's hate speech now, but you could just tell, you have literally his mom's the housewife, and, of course we know it's raining. That's why we came out here. Mom who's like, no, don't you know it's raining? And it's, yeah, Mom, I'm a boy. That was the American Dennis.
I love that. I still go for walks.
And he would get.
There's one where his dad's giving him a pipe, and Dennis is like shaking his head, no, and his dad says, "You said a couple of puffs. You've still got one coming."
Wow!
Look! It's a different kind of pipe in Oregon.
A pipe organ?
No, pipe in Oregon.
I heard pipe organ.
Alrighty. Okay, so
the American
I did want to share. Sorry,
are sweet.
I was gonna say I actually have one pulled up from the Brits.
Oh, okay, that'll be fun.
So
that'll
let me
be
see.
interesting.
Yeah. As a point of comparison, let me zoom in a bit here.
Oh, I know.
Dennis, what are you doing? I'm bored, so I'm sawing the kitchen table in half for a laugh. That basically encapsulates the difference between the American version and the British version of this character.
Yeah, the British version of this character has serious problems and needs to be medicated.
I mean, this is Superman versus Judge Dredd.
Yeah, no, that's a good analogy.
But yeah, Abigail says these Dennis comics are so sweet. I'm assuming you're referring to the American version. Because yeah, once you get across the pond, even the dogs, like you look at like the difference between Dennis the Menace's dog, who's just this like old white fluffy, like, oh, I'm just I'm a big pillow, and then you see Dennis's dog, who's like,
is that a dog or a hedgehog?
Dogs and their owners looking alike.
Right? Yeah, he's like, oi, mate, I'll bite you in it.
All right, gang, I gotta duck out and get back into the studio. Yeah. I'll catch you guys later.
Thank you.
And thanks for showing
up.
Bye.
Thanks for showing up. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Marm, for participating tonight. Okay, so now we can move on to we've done Dennis the Menace, Cartoonicus. I think you were going to share some of your favorite.
Well, first, and oh darn, I can't remember. Was it Larry or Marm who I'd been speaking to? I've got it pulled up. Was this the guy? This is Bizarro Comics, and this is the guy who hides all these little icons.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the dynamite here. He's got the bird. He's actually doubled down on.
Yeah, I think it was Marvin who said
the two sticks of dynamite.
Know what you were
and
talking
he's
about.
got like 14, 15 of these, I think, but he'll only choose about 4 or 5 in every image.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So it's not just, it's like, oh, play a mini game in addition to reading the.
Right. There's an eyeball, a plant, a UFO.
Look. You can feel enriched by doing the homework.
Right.
I mean,
of course, I chose one about therapists here.
I know, right? Yeah, it's perfectly fitting. I was going to say, if you're going to go for like, okay, I'm going to do the Gary Larson thing, at least having your own very unique spin on it. Because like, when I think about Close to Home, I don't remember what was unique about it. I just remember it was the off-brand version of Far Side. At least this guy, he's got a definitive spin on it. So there's that. But no, that's pretty legit. All right, did you? What was your single panel cartoon to share with us today?
I doubt I could find a favorite, but I did want to pull up some stuff that is rather unique. Mm-hmm. So I went and found, actually went to DeviantArt of all places. Yeah. To find. Okay, so let me get it up here. Screen.
And thank you, chat, for participating in the draw along. Those were some brilliant single panel cartoons. So yeah, fantastic work. Yeah. And that's what we're looking for those. Yeah. So just rough sketched it out and throw it together. And they're I think they're even funnier that way sometimes. So
yeah.
All right, I got it up.
You really make it a community show. We love the participation.
Yeah, exactly.
So you talked about if you're going to do something, make it your own, right? Mm-hmm. This is Raya the Genie, and the deal is we've got this evil genie who
is definitely not Shantae.
I'm sure there's some influence.
Definitely not Shantae.
Evil genie.
But,
I feel like most genies are evil. If they were good, you would have to specify.
Well, the point is, she has been sentenced by being trapped and made into a genie, and she will be trapped here until she
trapped in a single panel comic.
Right, until she fulfills a certain amount of wishes. And so the guy has a Patreon, and you can go there and make a wish. And the idea is, because she has to grant the wish, but because she's evil, she's going to try to find some way to spin it on you and give you, one of those evil, you forgot to specify, so now you're a giant head of cheese or something, right? And so
that is pretty slick marketing.
It is, and everybody, of course, loves to try to see if they can outsmart her, right? come up with some unique wish, and then he's got to find some way to put a spin on it every single time.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
at one point,
Let's click on it. Let's see a couple
yeah,
of these in
let's think
action.
about this. So what? Since the wishes among genies are allowed, so apparently this character is also masquerading as a genie. I wish for an autograph. I'm a fan of your work,
Well,
even if I don't have the
click
heart.
click on one individually because we're
Oh,
seeing
okay.
a
So
whole.
she gives her an X. So what's that?
Can you click on one individually because we're
Wait,
looking
you're
at a
still
whole
seeing
bunch
the whole thing? Why are you
Yes.
seeing the whole thing? You shouldn't be seeing the whole
Did
thing.
you open another tab? If you open another tab,
Maybe
yeah, there
so.
we go. Yeah,
There we
okay.
go. Okay, sorry about that.
I wish nobody wore clothes.
You're gonna get a lot of wishes like this, to be honest.
Of course. Now nobody will wear clothes. Hey, thanks for the clothes and all, but it's too much. You can have the scarf and trousers. So like somebody named nobody.
She just created a nobody. Like literally, there's no.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
nothing
nobody.
in the clothes.
no
They're, like,
body.
standing up on
Right.
their own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's a peak family circus level humor.
Yes.
I wish we could see Raya when she was first created by Gran. There you go. I haven't changed too much. This
Oh, yeah.
this
Somebody
time-
of course made that joke. Wish.
I wish to know where Raya gets her many sets of clothes from. Speaking as one genie to another, I have to bow in complete defeat at the level of her fashion. I make them up on the spot every time I take shape. It's easier than remembering them.
Yeah.
So the cool part here is the interaction with the audience there. That's very clever.
Well, and you'll notice, so not always able to see it, but pay attention to the avatar that's used because she will actually go and cartoon that character and put them in.
Oh, okay. Dr. Kreeb or Dr. Keeb? Seeb? Mighty Genie, I have been lacking proper test subjects for my android warriors. Send me whichever fools have been giving you the worst wishes possible so I may use their worthless bodies as a vessel for my creation. Okay, boys, don't bite him too much. This one is not made of chocolate.
She has a habit of if you try to push too hard, she'll just turn you into a bar of chocolate.
Okay. I wish for lighting eyeballs like mighty rays.
I'm assuming they meant lightning.
Okay.
Typos are great on this.
Okay. Abigail says this is a fun idea. Yeah, no, this is very clever.
At least once since I started following it, somebody finally made the wish to set her free.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just decided to take revenge on the world, and she was wreaking havoc for like several weeks until somebody finally donated enough to put her back in the bottle. And then they created new rules and stuff. There's this other character. Do I have to go outside the Raya comics? Let's see. There's various other characters who will replace her when stuff like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. Let me find one here. Really? I would have thought it'd be something already. Like, oh, here we go. This character is actually a really nice character, but she's super clumsy, so she destroys everything she tries to do. Yeah.
I wish to burn the Pepsi. How that doesn't count is something on fire, then it doesn't count.
So this guy's English is admittedly not this guy's first language. He actually told me that the other day. So every once in a while,
so it's an
you'll get
Efreet,
something.
which is an actual Jinn.
Yeah. He's also known to stretch some things at times. I'll be like, okay, that one was a bit much.
I wish I could catch a blue whale and have it on a tank. Let's see how Raja can make this go badly. I can already see it.
Oh yeah, that's right. This one was fun. I was looking at this and I was like, wow, that is a Pokemon right there.
Whale tank.
Yeah.
I mean,
but see there, she's cartooned the avatar.
Right. Yeah. I see that. Yeah. That's cool. How much do you have for our chat? Just in case, how much do you have to? I see it's a Ko-Fi, right?
Let me see if I can. Here's the Patreon. I will go and paste that.
Well, no, the Ko-Fi would be where you can make some of the wishes. It looks like.
I'll do both here.
Okay. Tank whale.
But also, just check him out on DeviantArt.
Yeah, that's
Raya the Genie.
That's clever.
There's the links.
Yeah, I guess I could pop those in chat.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I got the Patreon in there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I got it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are interested in taking a look at Raya, totally not Shantae, the genie. Alrighty, cool. All right, so this let's see. Oh, Cartoonicus, let's see your progress on your single panel cartoon.
Let's get back to that.
Let's see if there's anything else in Discord here. And again, thank you to our chat and to the Discord for.
What shall we write?
All right, you got. All right, already. So captioning this, it's funny. I actually just made pizza. I made from scratch pizza for my wife today. So I spent like a good chunk of the day, like
mini pizzas myself,
making pizza dough. Oh, cool, yeah, and everything, and you getting the pizza stone. I was trying to go the gourmet route.
By the way, pizza stones are amazing.
Yeah. I think they're expensive.
They're pretty cool.
We lucked out though.
I was gonna say, that being said, there's no better pizza crust in my opinion than a bagel.
Oh my gosh. So here's the thing about Cartoonicus chat. Cartoonicus's tastes, they vary. There's no in between. Cartoonicus's tastes are either going to be the most amazing thing ever that you try a recipe, you go, wow, this is going to become a family recipe. Or you're going to look at him sideways and go, what the hell? There is no in between. He's got this amazing recipe for rigatoni, and I partially ascribe my wooing of my wife to making that rigatoni for her multiple times. And it was I believe Taylor who helped me make that recipe. But then he'll say something like, well, the best pizza is American cheese on a bagel. And you're like, are you an alien?
I have very strange tastes when it comes to pizza.
You have very strange tastes when it comes to everything. I've noticed this is kind of a through line for every topic we talk about. You either have like really good taste or very, very questionable.
That just comes from my, natural tendency to hate anything popular.
I have to tell you this story. So this is relevant because we're still talking about pizza. We order out for Pizza Hut once, okay? And I like Pizza Hut. I order like a standard, like cheese.
Pizza Hut doesn't do it. It's Domino's.
We ordered from Pizza Hut this once because I don't order from Domino's. And Cartoonicus goes, since we're ordering pizza and I don't get to order this often, I'm going to order my own special pizza. And he goes and he says, I want American cheese.
That's Domino's. I think it was because I was
mozzarella. Not mozzarella. American cheese. And they you could just hear the person on the other side of the line go, what? And he goes, no, American cheese. And we pick up the pizzas. I don't know if you've ever seen American cheese when you try to make a pizza with it. It comes out black, like the cheese actually turns black. And so it
looks burned. It actually isn't, because if you peel the top layer off, the entire cheese will be just perfect underneath there.
Oh my gosh!
I just everybody looks at me like, "Now you know it burned, right?" I'm like, "No, trust me."
But it doesn't have the internal consistency to be able to be proper cheese pizza.
That's exactly what I want. It melts perfectly, and it mixes in with the sauce. This is what this comic needs to be about: American cheese.
I feel like both of these ninjas are gonna want to kill this pizza.
Okay.
That was an incredibly deep cut.
Yeah. Feels like, bro, what?
It's not my fault you put American cheese on your pizza.
Like, I would probably if I'd want a divorce over that. I would absolutely want a divorce over that. She could have cheated on like 5 other guys, and that would have been better than the American cheese on the pizza.
Oh my god!
like I said, there is no in between with Cartoonicus's taste. It's
so
either...
far, I have only had one person who actually tasted it and liked it.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Now you see, you could put the American cheese like within a matrix of mozzarella cheese, and it'd be okay.
Like a 5 cheese pizza or something. Like
if you blend it in with multiple cheeses. No, I know.
You should have seen this thing. It was like looking at like.
It definitely tastes better than it looks.
You open up the box, and it was just like a wasteland of black. It looked like melted plastic. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
And it's like some of these places, their pizza's already borderline like plastic on cardboard. Like, you're getting it because it's delivery and cheap.
Exactly.
Now the funny thing is, couple times I've done that, they must have. I don't know if they're getting more orders like this or what, but they seem to have perfected a way that it's no longer doing that.
Oh gosh.
I'd rather just go to a pizzeria and order it as it comes.
I think what is more horrifying, the fact that Cartoonicus still orders this abomination, or that they're getting better at making it. Okay.
They like recognize the phone number and they're already prepping the oven.
You know we're gonna have to burn the oven when this is done.
I guess.
Well, the place is a loss, but at least we made that sale.
Yeah, exactly.
That's weird. They're always burning the oven.
Oh. All right, come on. Come up with a line for me.
I think
here.
Larry had the best one, which is that's not fair, honey. That's too much of a deep cut.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what that was.
I don't know if it was supposed to be that, but it worked so well.
But that's perfect. That is perfect. That really channels the spirit of one panel comics.
Was it too much of a deep cut?
Yeah, it's too much of a
It would be
deep
better
cut.
as 2 separate sentences, grammatically speaking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would make that 2 sentences. But that's perfect. Yeah. So I think chat, we have found the way to do this, which is single panel comics. We roll the elements. We could pretty much add this to our repertoire for our shows. I think this is going to be a good addition. Colin Lamping says, what the heck? Why would you eat American cheese? Edming says, LOL, Cartoonicus is a food maverick. That is a very generous characterization.
At least tell me that it's white American and not yellow American.
More importantly, it is real white American. If anyone's thinking craft singles, get that garbage away from me.
Like, hold up. Are you talking like Cheese Whiz out of the can, white American cheese?
No, I am saying real Boar's Head white American cheese.
Okay.
Okay.
Of all the lines, that's the weird one.
No, I am not. That would be a travesty. It has to be.
Have you ever had real white American cheese? You can eat it just plain.
Yes.
I have.
Sure. I like American cheese on my burgers, but it's good on a burger.
The funny thing
And even
is,
then-
and it won't be everybody. Some people will still prefer mozzarella, but I'm sure there will be some people out there who get American cheese on their meatball subs.
No?
Provolone.
What?
Provolone.
What are you talking about?
We need to do the next episode at some point about Cartoonicus's unusual opinions of things.
No,
So
we need
This
to
gets
do
through the entire
intervention.
stream. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be an intervention. Is what it's gonna be.
No, it's just gonna be me torturing people for 2 hours.
Like I've heard of Swiss on a meatball sub, but like provolone, that's the preferred.
Right.
I say I don't even like provolone.
I just had provolone on a Philly cheesesteak. It's fine.
Yeah. Tastes weird. So does Swiss.
I think you just don't like strong tastes. That might be it, because like American cheese is very watered down. Like even actual like boar's head. It's a very subtle taste compared to like
More
sharper
neutral.
I would
classic
disagree
cheeses.
entirely. I use it for things like mac and cheese because of its strong taste. It's not as strong as like
Maybe
Gouda.
your taste buds are just inverted. That might be the case.
Just upside down. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So yeah, welcome to the Mattriarchy, where you
We
learn.
started out talking about comics. Ended up talking about American cheese.
Yep. And you learned way too much about the hosts, and way more than you ever probably ever wanted to learn.
I'm gonna have
But
to do a cooking show one of these days.
Geek Avenger
Cooking
says,
comics would be interesting.
"Hail all you magnificent based bastards in the chat. How's it going? Yeah, we're doing single panel. We were celebrating single panel comics, and that's what you see before you."
It's a good
says,
comic.
"Ding dong." Abigail says, "Ding dong, your taste buds are wrong." Highlight that one.
Me too.
I thought she was gonna say your taste buds are dead. Like ding dong, the witch is dead.
No. Oh, but then that rhymes. Like the wrong
Right, yeah,
is so
exactly.
much better.
Seven says, "Mr. and Mrs. Ninja have been through thick and thin." Thick and thin crust. I got you there. Yeah. We should have done it.
Maybe if the crust was stuffed a little more often, they wouldn't be in this situation.
You know what would be the ultimate touch? You know what would be the ultimate touch for one of these comics? Put a New York hat on one of the ninjas and put a Chicago hat on the other one. And then you could
like a Yankees and Cubs hat or something like that.
Yeah,
But in this case, shouldn't it be like a pizza hat and a Domino's hat?
No. You do New York and Chicago because of New York versus Chicago.
Completely different styles of pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah.
the New York one needs to be the one who's more objecting about things because it believes it's the only correct pizza.
Right, yeah.
And the Chicago pizza is like
barely even pizza.
It's a fluffy casserole.
Yeah.
I do prefer New York.
I like honestly my favorite is that's why, and this is the reason why I like pizza so much. I like the pan. I like the pan pizza because it's like halfway between the two. It's not quite deep. It's not quite deep dish, but it's not really thin crusty.
Yeah,
I like artisan pizza as well, but like almost all non-Chicago based pizzas, because like even deep dish isn't quite the same. Like when people are like, oh, we make a deep dish, it's not the same as Chicago pizza. That is deep cake tin pizza. Most of it is based on like Brooklyn style, and so it's like you go almost anywhere. If you like a Brooklyn style pie, you'll like most pies to some degree, but you go to a Chicago place.
Artisan was what we were trying to make today. Turned out pretty decently, actually. Put a bunch of basil and.
You do a margarita sauce or
we did a specialized pizza sauce, but we went to like Fresh Market and got something like from like tomato sauce from Italy kind of thing.
Kind of still more of a marinara than like a margarita.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try to do a margarita pizza next time. I didn't want to. This is the first time I've made it, so I didn't want to go too. I didn't want to go too far from the basics because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. But it turned out surprisingly well. Way better than it probably should have. But that was my big accomplishment for the day. Alrighty, so I think that's definitely a show for tonight.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any other concluding thoughts before we head out?
What's everyone's favorite pizza comic?
Favorite pizza comic?
Well, the ones we just made.
Yeah. Obviously.
Geek Avenger says an argument should be made that pineapple on pizza is a natural manifestation of our near free market system, and in the United States, therefore anybody that doesn't support it is a godless communist.
I actually, because my family's up from like the New York area, so in general we kind of are like pizza. I guess I don't know what you call it.
Snob.
Yeah, snob would probably be an okay word for it. But I don't object to pineapple on pizza as long as it's coupled with the right stuff, right? If you've got like a sweet and savory combination, it's fine. It's a little too sweet to be on a pizza by itself.
I'm not going to turn down a pizza because it has pineapple on it, but basically you're gonna find me picking the pineapple off and eating it separately, and then just eating the
anchovies.
pizza.
Pineapple
I'm a
anchovies
pizza-
is pretty good too.
I'm a pizza purist. I basically just go for cheese and then more cheese. That's
I prefer cheese, but I like veggies. I'm not super big on meat. Maybe like sliced meatballs are fine. I don't really like pepperoni or anything, but cheese and any amount of cheese on there, I'm pretty good on it.
Yeah, just the straight cheese pizza. That's all I need. But alrighty, so
All right.
ladies and gentlemen, always make sure to check out our wonderful panelists and the comics and things that that we all create. Metal makes is the creator, writer, artist behind X Dynamis Chaos, which you can which I'm sure you'll be popping a link in chat there. Feel free to take a look at our webcomic superschooled.com, the superhero 4-panel webcomic we do on a weekly basis. Cartoonicus and I do it. And also take a look at Adventures of Omega Girl, now on issue 3. I'm currently trying to wrap up issue 4 as we speak. So classic superhero adventures. If you're a fan of all of the action, adventure, and spice of classic adventure comics, you're going to love Omega Girl. Check that out. Check out Forces of Good and Evil, which I believe is always linked in the descriptions for these videos. Rhys, the host of our wonderful channel here, at idealcomics.net or forcesofgoodandevil.net for more superhero comedy action.
Yeah, he'll be back before you know this.
And yeah, whoops. Okay.
And as always, keep eating
Keep
pizza.
eating.
Keep eating pizza.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Hold on. I
was gonna let you finish off. I wasn't gonna kill it yet.
There we go. All right, I almost got it right. Links.
One of those
links
things
are in
actually
chat.
goes through.
One of those things goes there. Thank you, Geek, for telling us we're actually running, for being more professional than we are. Please hit like, subscribe, the bell for notifications, all that wonderful goodness, and check us out next week. We're still figuring out what is on the schedule. Rhys will be joining in the next couple. Rhys will be rejoining us back in the next couple of weeks. We hope to put together another comics creators club. We'll be pairing together some indie comics in the next few weeks. But we will definitely be doing more comics topics and more single panel random chaos, because that's been great. All right. Someone else can then say, until next time,
keep reading comics.